Okay, so in my last video I talked about my treatment at CAMS and I'm still receiving that treatment, but I was receiving that treatment from February till about April, and even though it still continued, I'm now going to talk about what happened around April, because while I was receiving the treatment before that, I still had an eating disorder. I was still acting up to, like, I was still having strange behaviours to do with an eating disorder, like, and I basically still had the eating disorder, and it never really went away. But then basically I've been sitting next to this girl in English for like a year now. I sat next to her like a couple of times the previous year, and I knew that I liked her like as a friend and stuff. And then basically I had been out as being possibly gay at my school for about 2-3 years by then, and so she knew that I was gay, and then she came out to me. I was one of the first people she came out to. Like, seriously, like, I think she came out to one other friend who was also my friend before me. And then, and then I realised that I had feelings for her, and she basically had feelings for me too. And basically, I didn't. It actually took me. I knew I was going to ask her out because me and her have this friend in common, called Julie, and so I asked Julie to ask Emma, and was the girl who I was thinking of asking out. I asked Julie to ask Emma if Emma fancies me and if she'd say yes if I asked her out. And Julie said, yes, she will. Yes, she does fancy you, and yes, she probably will say yes. So I knew she was going to say yes, but it still took me about 3 weeks to get up the courage to actually ask her out. And basically, there was a week-long half-term holiday in between, and we met up at the beginning of the holidays in our local shopping centre, and we were supposed to meet up with Julie as well. Me and Emma and Julie were all supposed to meet up, and then Julie was an hour late, so that gave me and Emma time alone. And Julie deliberately was an hour late, so I could ask Emma out, but I didn't. For an hour, we wandered around a shopping centre, not really saying anything much. We just made small talk, and then it was only when we got back to school after the holidays that I asked her out, because that morning, because the whole holidays had just been like, oh my god, I should have asked her out, I really should have asked her out. So then I just got back and I just asked her out. Anyway, this is turning into a video about my asking him out. Anyway, so basically I started dating this girl called Emma who was in English, and that was around about the time the study leave was, and I basically spent like the whole of study leave together, and I was basically eating normally because when I was off, like, because we just got off school, like a couple of weeks later we got off school, so I would literally go around to her house every day, and while I was around at her house I just ate. I didn't think about why I was eating or whether I should or shouldn't. I just ate because when I'm around her I forget everything. I don't care about anything. Like, so I just ate without thinking about it, and then that went on for about 2 months, and then I had an appointment at Richmond. I hadn't had one for a while, but I had an appointment at Richmond. I basically said to them, after about 2 months of me going out with Emma, I am recovered. I don't think Emma cares about what I look like. I am. I know that she'll love me no matter what body shape I am, and I realise there's more things to care about and worry about than what body shape, than what weight you are and whatever. And I basically just said to Cams, I'm fine. And they did like say, but what if you break up with her and what if it goes wrong? And but basically I couldn't have any more appointments with Cams for a while because I was going on holiday. So then I basically going on holiday with like a thing called the Challenge, which is with a load of youths in your local area, a load of teenagers the same age as you. But so I was going away for that, for a couple of weeks, so I couldn't have appointments with Richmond anyway. So I basically said, I'm recovered, I don't need appointments, and they said, okay, well we'll see you in about 3 weeks time for a review just to see how you're going. So yeah, so for like 2 months I basically was recovered. Like I didn't think about my eating, I didn't think about my body weight, I didn't think about anything. But then it was after about 2 months my parents started getting me. No, I'm not going to talk about falling back. No, I'm going to save falling back into my eating disorder or relapsing for the next video. So basically, this is turning out to be quite a short video. Basically, for 2 months I was basically recovered because I was happy. Like I was in love with Emma and we were dating and everything was fine, and I didn't care. Like on times when I did, I just told myself that Emma wouldn't care. Like yeah, and also Emma knew about my eating disorder. She knew about it before we started going out, and Emma knew about my self-harming because we talked about that, because self-harming was one thing we shared in common, and she absolutely hated it. Like when we first started going out, she hated it whenever she spotted scars on my body, and I knew she would hate it if I did start self-harming again, because I hadn't been self-harming for quite a while, and I knew that she'd hate it if I did, so I didn't do that because I knew that it would just make us so upset. Yeah, and I remember like one of the first times I had a sleepover around at hers, we were talking about, I confessed to her, like, because she's had a lot of experiences in hospital for various reasons, like because she'd recently been diagnosed. She was at the time diagnosed with epilepsy, which it now turns out was a misdiagnosis. But anyway, so she was in and out of hospital a lot, and the only one time I'd had any hospital experience, any A&E experience, was when I was brought in because I'd overdosed on pills, and so I kept saying, oh yeah, this happened when I went to hospital, but I never explained to her why I'd been at hospital. And then it was like a sleepover at her house, and I just basically confessed to her why I'd been at hospital, and then there was a lot of tears in that sleepover, a lot of tears. But yeah, don't know why I'm telling you that, but she just basically got really, really upset at the thought of me overdosing and wanting to end my life. But when I had overdosed, that was that was quite a few months ago before I was dating her. But yeah, but she did make she still does, we're still dating, she still does make my life so much happier. Like whenever I'm around her, all my troubles just melt away. It's just like she cheers me up so much, but it's just like I can't if I spent every minute of every day with her, then I'd be fine, but I can't, so I end up only seeing her like after school, like a couple of days. That's like the only time I end up seeing her at the moment now that I'm at college. And so when I'm at school and when I'm not with her, then I just fall back. But anyway, that's another video. So yeah, so that's basically my video about Emma and about me recovering, and my next video will be about what happened when I relapsed. So that's the next video. Okay. Bye.